this. So all of your responses, and so our last part of this creativity project is an assignment to make your project even better. So you're going to take the feedback that I gave you, you're going to take the feedback that your students gave you, and you're going to create you're going to do a little reflection and kind of enhance what you do with your plan. I'm going to pull it up here on the screen. Okay, so down here at the bottom now, blow it up a little bit for you guys. Okay, so reflecting and revising by creativity exercise. Your assignment is to write a reflection and revision paper for your creativity. Here's what you should include. Using feedback from other students and I, reflect on positive parts. And so you remember we had the positive side. You guys did these 100 times, so you know better than I almost the positive part. And then using your feedback, reflect on the areas that were weak. Take your previous plan and revise it, incorporating new items and or improvements that you would make had you had to do this exercise again in the future. And then on Thursday, so this is due the due date, either Wednesday night or check here, change due date. Yeah, I did it before class so that you could at least have it uploaded just before class. Obviously, you're welcome to do it sooner, but I'm going to have you, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but everybody else, well, if you were present that day, participated in it. And so then we'll have you guys come up to class and say, here's what I would have done differently, right? And you just spend a couple, 3 minutes explaining your plan for the new exercise and just doing a brief verbal presentation. And then we can have a little bit of an exchange with each other just to kind of build from that. Okay? So that's the plan for Thursday. So you need to have that piece of it uploaded before class Thursday. Any questions there? Okay, so I want to give you guys a little more direction on where we're going with this education and more. So there's a new tab up here in this is where the assignment file was. So it's not in the assignment folder, it's down, education and more project items. And so you've seen me taking some pictures of stuff related to it. And then you have the work that you've already done with the assessing the data and all of that. And so we're going to have you do a couple different things. One you're going to do on your own, which is this part. And that is to act as a consultant for education and more. So you've been paid $3,000 in hypothetical money, funny money, oh you brave buck money, to act as a consultant to present your findings to the board. Write the report and presentation as if you are a class representative for the final project recommendation. You are to work on this part alone. So I tell you that alone part, so you're going to do this on your own, but then Monday, prior to Dana coming back, the class is going to present our findings back to Dana. It's going to be recorded and Zoomed. I'm not sure, I haven't even checked if any of the other board members are available, but we're going to present our findings back to her on Tuesday for class. And so this part you'll do on your own. Write a little report from the findings. We're going to do some more stuff today, Thursday and Friday. Your report and presentation should minimally include a description of the CPS process that was used to form our recommendation. Be sure to include the thinking tools we used and how we did it. Start all the way back with assessing the situation, which was our first tool in our why. All of the final recommended changes and how we came to those suggestions. You should include pictures of the whiteboard as you think are appropriate for your report, and possibly any place else. I put the whiteboard, but it could be from their website or something, whatever sources you do. And then include a recommendation of future applications of CPS process that could be clarify the recommendation. So we might have a recommendation that comes about, and then we'll find out that, oh, well, that's kind of a complex issue too. We didn't have enough time to cover that, but you might use a process like this for that. Okay, and then I'll open it up for questions here in a second. So then we're going to group for the presentation Tuesday. We're basically going to take bits and pieces of people's work we thought was the best for different sections for the presentation when she's here. And so this is my last class. I had identified Blaine and Peyton and Tynan and different people for different sections as we present it to Dana. So that day of the presentation, you all will play a role in presenting it back to the board. So that's the group part of this. All right, so any questions? If you're not going to be here Tuesday, does anybody know already if they're here, if they've got a game or something on Tuesday? This is a week from tomorrow. Wait, today is Tuesday. Never mind, a week from today. Nobody knows for sure that they're going to be gone. Okay. If for some reason something comes up or you're sick or whatever, then you will record yourself presenting the whole thing of what you had before. So come to class that day and you'll just be doing a little part of the presentation that you've worked on as kind of a group project. Otherwise, you'll record yourself doing the whole thing. Okay, questions on where we're going with all this stuff?
So the whole class is the group?
For the presentation Tuesday, yes. We will kind of divvy that up later. This is due Monday before class. So you're going to have worked on it up by yourself, and then during Monday's class, we're going to kind of collaborate with each other and say, oh, Gavin, I like what you did with this section. Let's have you present that on, the day of the presentation. So we'll kind of break it up into pieces for the group presentation. All right, anything else? Yep. Finals Friday, a week from this Friday, the last day of class. Last day of class.
We do a review this time, or?
Yeah, we'll do the same, similar to what we did last time. Yeah. Okay. Fun. All right, so here you guys have access to this now. This is a picture I took yesterday. So this might come in your PowerPoint when you're trying to explain, well, this is what the class did. We grouped up the post-it notes and we categorized them according to something or other, right? And so we'll continue to do some more pictures. I think there's pictures that I still have that I don't have posted in here as well. So let me just kind of run through which ones I did have. So this is the last thing we did yesterday from the chair and Green Day. So who wasn't here yesterday? Just a Sean? Okay. So if you blow up enough, hopefully it's good enough. This is where we're going to pick up today with this a little bit more on coming up with ideas on how we increase the board. Third shot was your guys's who, what, when, or whys that were categorized into the different areas. So if that comes in handy, and again, you can blow up and screenshot, stuff, and we can kind of review those post-its as needed. I have the actual post-it notes here. Sometimes the camera doesn't always pick them up perfect. And then there was the task statement that we derived, which you guys wrote down. And then finally, the SWOT that we started. And that's just kind of extra evidence that we had. So, all right, any questions on the content collection there? And then ultimately, we'll have your PowerPoints and stuff, and the group PowerPoints. We'll be building this file up over time. Okay, good enough. Let's get back to the PowerPoints then. And remember, you got your iceberg melting. I put Sunday night on that, but you can start that earlier too. There are specific things with the iceberg. I guess since I have it here, let me go back. It's honestly it's not a big paper, but I do have some of the questions you can think about as you write your reaction paper. So I would read the story all the way through. Again, it probably take. Has anybody read it yet? Just curious. You did? But you started through it. So it's pretty easy, lighthearted, kind of fun, almost like a child's story. But then it's going to have some kind of powerful stuff. So after you read it once through, you can start thinking about these questions, and that'll kind of help you do the reflection paper too. That's just prompts. Okay. So just to kind of rehash where we left off yesterday, we started with our brainstorming exercise using the Post-its as a technique to do it. One of the principles that we do is that you read your response aloud and then you write it down. So to help, well, what's the reason we do that? That you verbalize it before just going slapping it on the wall? Why do we verbalize your idea? Yeah, and make connections, yeah. So it's just so that other people can make connections. And are we saying that was dumb? No, right? So go for quantity, defer judgment, make connections, and seek novelty. Right. So we can be as crazy as we want to be with that. All right, so here was the thing we left off with. I threw a little Green Day up and tried the chair with the forced connections. So that's where we're going to continue on today. Ultimately, we'll be going towards hits and highlighting. So we've got those other Post-it notes, and I'm going to pass those out again. And so we want to, so Ashan, the main thing we came up with from this was increasing the numbers of board members. So we're going to try to come up with some ideas on how to do that. We just kind of had a gentle start yesterday. Probably need 100 more ideas to really wet our whistle here. I will repost the ones from yesterday. So everybody take a Post-it note thing. If you run out, you can grab some more from your neighbor. Okay, so from let's see, Sean, why don't we have you move over there actually and pull that table like this. Okay, so here are some of the things we had from yesterday. We want to be energetic with our board, persistent on finding board members. We need to fill some chairs. We need to talk to people. We want to have fun with the search for more board members. We need to be able to stand out. We need to be recognizable. Add a link or a message to the online sales page that asks for a volunteer. That's probably closer, that was you, right, Bryce? That's probably closer to the direction we're going to head today, is to be a little bit more specific with not necessarily using the chair. The chair was just for ideas, but I might throw something else up there if we start running out. Be loud. I think that came from Green Day. Was that yours, Bobby, or something? That was you. Okay, be loud. We need someone for board members to lean on. So some support for board members. Who was that? That was Carson. Okay. Be enthusiastic about our search for board members. Create positions for open spots. So create positions. The chair represents the person who is willing to sit in it. Chairs are empty. We need more. Without the four corners, we wouldn't be balanced. Yes. So the chair, we need to balance the board and think about have that in mind. Okay. Explain how great this organization is, and be annoying to people. Who was that? That was yours too. Okay, so that was the Green Day. Yeah, no, but it is what it is. You know, you generated some of those other ones, I think, maybe by saying that. So that's what it's all about. Okay, so today, let's come up with some ideas. We're just trying to generate board members. I wanted to add a little bit other insight that you may have picked up from Dana's presentation or not. The traditional way that they've increased board members is people who have participated in trips. So that's how Dana got hooked. So one of the board members, Dana went on a mission trip to Mexico to build some homes for some people. And so one of the people on that trip was Colleen, and Colleen is one of the board members. And she said, Dana, you should come down to Guatemala with us, and explained education and more. Dana went on the trip, fell in love with it, and has been involved with it ever since. They had lost their Spanish-speaking person before. The original founder was, I don't know if she was as good as Dana, but the Spanish could speak Spanish. And so Dana was kind of a natural fit, and she loved it and all that. So my point is that most of the board members, although not all, I think one of them, I'm almost positive, was not on the board. Or no, I'm sorry, she was on the board but had never traveled to Guatemala. So bear that in mind when somebody put up here, explore different positions or create positions. It's not a requirement that they have gone down to Guatemala, but that's traditionally how it's kind of evolved. And so you might want to think about the stakeholders that you guys did from the who, what, when, where, why, and how. What do I mean by stakeholder? We've had some business classes or business ethics or all kinds of classes. A stakeholder, as opposed to a stockholder, a shareholder or stockholder is a stakeholder, but a stakeholder is a little more broad. What would be a stakeholder? What is the idea of a stakeholder? Okay. So anybody who's affected by what Education and More does. So let's kind of hear what those are. This should have been on your who list of assess. Sponsors, so donors. Who else? Volunteers. Board members. Anybody directly affected by it? Yeah, the people in Guatemala, the village, the kids. So that'd be the kids who get to go to education, the workers that are working for it. Those are all stakeholders. Good. People who buy the products, so the purchaser of the products. Yeah, the people who make donations. It could be cash or it could be otherwise.
Medical doctor down
The doctor, he'd be related to it, yep, for the medical mission part that they've done. I mean, that covers most of them. Look, the people do the loom, what?
The people that go on the mission trips.
Yeah, no, I don't think that was said. So yes, you don't have to be a donor. Like the new people that Dana has found through some of that social media, this is going to be their first exposure to it. And they may or may not be a sponsor of a kid. The sponsorship was, what was it, 180 or 160 or a year? 180 a year, yeah. So sometimes those people go down, sometimes they don't. And it just might be, I always wanted to go to Guatemala. And this is like their first exposure to going to Guatemala. So that's kind of the stakeholders you can kind of keep in mind too, as we try to come up with ideas for this. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys. I'll help facilitate. I'll probably grab the Post-it note. So how can we increase board members? We're diverging, so vocalize it, write it down. When you're ready, just hold up your Post-it note and I'll come and get it. I kind of feel like I want to circle up for this a little bit. Let's do a little, at least a mini circle so that you guys aren't all facing me. Because this is really about you guys talking to each other about this. How can we increase board members? And you might, for this, how should I say this? You've only got a Post-it note. So the whole purpose of this is that you're not coming up with a really well thought out. We're going to do that later. So it doesn't have to be I'm making a plan. This is the law of navigation. And so I'm going to write, because this could end up being a paragraph or something. So your idea should be more of just an idea of something that you can vocalize in a sentence roughly, and then write it down. So.
Live stream the mission trip.
All right.
Rushing.
Yeah, as soon as you say it, I'm not judging, so I'm just gonna live stream the mission trip. And anybody else can go. I don't have to grab his thing. If you have an idea right now, vocalize it. And
Post on social media.
Look for specific people you want to fill the board.
look for specific people you want to fill the board. Is that one? Oh, you wrote on the. Yeah, you wrote on like the backing of it. I'm like, what the heck is this one? Internships. Advertising. And you can start to be as specific. So like when Ashanti says advertising, maybe you start thinking or making connections like advertising what? Kind of use your knowledge of the organization.
More mission trips.
More mission trips. Exposure from celebrities. Okay. So Gavin just said offer kids who have gone through the program, and I just want to clarify, the Guatemalan kids?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Guatemalan kids who've gone through the program offer internships when they finish school.
Billboards.
What's that?
Billboards.
Billboards. Oh, that's the one I read. Which was what? Look for specific people to fill the board. You just put it down. Yeah. Yeah, we're not judging it all. So you might say something. You might say something that's not relevant because you're asking about this thing, right? But that might spark somebody else thinking something related to it. Create a social media account. Radio ad. Radio ad.
Because you didn't say chess.
What's that? Lawn signs.
Create a travel video.
Create a travel video. Email people. Email possible positions.
I didn't know how to.
Okay, that's fine.
Reach out to previous participants.
Okay, reach out to previous participants. Participants in the mission trips, or okay. Advertise on website. Oops, sorry.
Advertise to children.
Advertise the children. Use them. Documentary of previous adventures.
Go to different churches and talk about the mission trip.
Okay, go to different churches and talk about the mission trip.
Collaborate with the company.
Increase social media.
Collaborate with a company.
Increase social media awareness. Is that right?
Increase social media awareness.
Build rapport.
Build rapport.
Assess it.
Okay, let's pause for a second unless anybody has one yet. So I want to try the webbing exercise to see how that works out. So from the previous chapter, we had the webbing exercise. What was the thing that we were that we did with the webbing exercise? We didn't actually do it yet, but so increase board members. Everybody remember how you start this thing off here? So our task is, in what ways can we increase board members? And then what do we ask?
How, right?
You can start to go down, but why is the first start, right? So why?
Lack of diversity.
Lack of diversity. Okay, now hold on. Now we put a question stem. Now we put a question stem on the lack of diversity. So how can we increase diversity? How can we increase diversity? Internships. There could be a few different reasons. Internships. Why?
Give young people opportunities.
Give young people opportunities. How, color, how can we give people, young people, opportunities?
Internships.
Or we could say, why?
How can we do? Oh, you could be like, you know how some people go to high schools, like go to 1 hour or something and talk 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
We talk like 500 students.
Okay, so how, you're kind of on that, how we can, how we can,
Give young people opportunities. Inform them at school.
School assembly.
School assembly.
yeah, so 10, 15-minute presentations.
That's really
Okay, let me come back here. What's stopping us? Increasing board members, what's stopping us? Lack of awareness. How can we increase awareness?
Create a bigger social media presence.
Right, and now you see how we're kind of going back to some of that ideas then. So social media presence. And what's stopping us?
An 80-year-old running the social media.
Okay. What's stopping us? Don't have the right person. How can we get the right person? What's that? Internships. Reaching out. Reaching out. Networking. Kind of going back to some of the stuff we're doing. So I kind of wanted to show you this here, that this is another way to start kind of putting things together on what's stopping us, and to come up with other ideas. So let's see. Let's take another why. And this is a why else. Should we increase board members? I mean, this one was specifically lack of diversity.
Expand the program.
Expand the program. Okay. Let's do a little why with this one. Why? Now, part B. Why?
Create a bigger impact.
Create a bigger impact. Why else? I mean, I want to branch off this. Why else? Can help more people. It doesn't have to stop with one branch.
Give more opportunities.
More opportunities for
The children.
the children.
And the workers.
Okay, so maybe we'll make 2 of those. More opportunity for children. More opportunity, and it's not, I mean, it's more income or opportunity. Income is opportunity. Is that what you're thinking with the, that's what came to mind for me with the word?
Like creating more jobs, maybe, or
No fair pay.
Okay,
yeah.
so more income for workers. And then I'm thinking a separate one is more workers to work. So now, sometimes this can start, when we first learn the webbing exercise, this can start to help develop the vision stage, right? And start to get a picture of why are we doing this, and we're starting to kind of put together a little bit, this is on the why. And so now, in what ways can we create a bigger impact? In what ways can we create more opportunities for children? In what ways can we increase income for workers? All right, what else is stopping us? From increasing board members?
Lack of interest.
Lack of interest. By whom?
Just like people don't want to be a board member because they don't really have the time.
Okay. So lack of interest for potential board members. And then why? And you said time commitment, right?
Yeah.
Might be a reason for some people. So time commitment. So if that's a stumbling block, in what ways can we help people with the potential thought that they don't have enough time? What's that?
Pay them.
Pay them, possibly. So in what way?
That's the only way I see it.
So this could be a real roadblock, and maybe as part of our marketing to new board members, it's important to outline the time commitment. So right now, are the 4 board members feeling a little bit overwhelmed? Would it be easier if there was 8? Yeah, right. So I think this kind of comes back to the plan of some of you. One of you said over here something along the lines of outlining the positions. I don't remember who put that up there. That was Bobby. So coming up with maybe positions might be a decent way, right? So I think with this why, this is maybe one of the answers here is positions. That could help with that. Okay, what else? In what ways can we increase understanding of time commitments? I kind of like that one of you're a potential board member, you're like, oh, I don't know, I've got so many things going on in my life. You know, what can the existing board do to help alleviate or at least address that concern? Somebody might be truly overwhelmed, right? It might be an obstacle we can't overcome. But it sounds like something in the pitch of, hey, come be a board member, that probably should be addressed, is what you guys have uncovered, I think, right? So I saw a couple hands up first. I thought, Bobby, yeah, first.
I think like a descriptive schedule of like the current board members.
Okay. Schedule, Jalen?
I was just about to say, tell them what they're gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of the tasks.
Yeah.
With the position, so not just a position title, but what are the actual tasks for the position? Because it might be, oh, I can't be whatever you need, a secretary. Yeah, I can't be secretary. Well, if you're secretary, that just means you have to keep the checkbook and do something. Oh, I can do that, right? So you can, like, the title, the position might not be enough, but actually getting into the detail of the task. Bryce?
Find a way to slowly ease them into it.
Slowly ease them into it. Okay, I like that. So, how should I? Guess I'll put what you said first here. Slowly ease into it, which kind of ties in with all of this. I think the type of tasks that you're doing. Some of them we're not gonna. We have a goal of having you do A, B, C, and D for the organization, but for the first 6 months, we're just gonna have you focus on A and B. Right? So part of it, I think that ties in nicely with this stuff. Yeah, Carson.
Maybe pair them up with somebody else.
Okay.
Just in case they need to take some time off.
Good, good. All right. So pair up with other board member. Maybe it's kind of a shadowing concept or something, right? For starters, maybe it's at the beginning. Maybe it's always designed as kind of a paired thing once they have enough people on the board. Okay, any other suggestions? Okay, so I think we have some new things to put over here now with that, right? So we kind of used both techniques. So let's take some of this stuff wherever you see it, and let's go back to our goal of increasing board members. If you feel strongly about one of these items, then vocalize it, and I'll put it back on the board.
Internship.
Okay, we have that one up here, so now we're getting to the point where that we won't double, but I do have internships right here. But it's okay to vocalize it. Okay, write it down. We're still going for quantity. I just didn't want to put at this time. We won't put a duplicate. I'll just I don't expect you all to have memorized every post-it that we did. So feel free to vocalize it.
Advertising positions.
Okay, advertising the positions for the board, and I think that's close to another one, but I don't remember where it is, so we'll put it up. You might think of why or where advertising, just to generate more ideas, to make connections.
Really advertising.
Okay. flexible schedules. So you're kind of thinking here that that's another one here. Okay. Gavin, did I ask her position? Time management. Okay.
It's advertised on campus for entry.
Okay.
College presentations.
Okay.
Advertise the other mission group.
Other mission groups, okay? Advertise to other mission groups, college presentations. With your internships, I feel like because you guys are college kids and you're thinking internships and campus presentations, don't forget that a lot of these board members would just be kind of regular old people out there. It's been the usual board. I think you're right, it helps address the diversity with age and stuff, that might be good, but I don't think that should be your one-stop shop. So kind of be thinking, don't go totally down that path completely,
Like
or be open for other ideas.
advertise like bingo night.
Okay, bingo night, I like it, bingo's fun. Okay, so older people, go ahead and write older people down.
Middle-aged people.
Where do we find older people? Middle-aged people, write that down.
Church.
So now you can start thinking older people, middle-aged people. Where do we find those people? You don't think about those people very much other than your mom and dad and grandpa and grandma maybe. Where do they hang out? How can we get them involved? And would they give a darn about Guatemala? You know, so we got to think about kind of the overall mission and other things. We're not trying to hit every old person out there.
Ads at Walmart.
As at Walmart, okay? Commercials. I think we had TV, well, we have radio ads, so if you put TV, if that's what you're thinking, but it could be social media commercials. I guess what kind of commercial is?
Like TV commercials for the news channels.
News channel. And I think old people. So I gotta interject since you guys are bringing up old people. This is a total side story off topic, but it's fun. I want to do it as your leader. I'm walking to campus, and this gray-haired lady, probably in her early 80s, maybe late 70s. I'm walking down the alley, and she says, "Excuse me, do you know how to take pictures with this?" And it was a smartphone. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, probably. Let me, I'd be happy to help you out. So she hands it to me, and I said, "Oh, the screen is locked." And she's like, "Oh, they gave me a password at the store. Let me see if that works." Like she hadn't turned it on or something. I don't know if it was brand spanking new or what. I didn't get into details. So she enters it in, and it unlocks the phone. Like she's like, "Yes, okay, great." And then I'm like, "Okay, this little icon here looks like a camera. That's your camera. So press that." And then it comes to life, and I pressed this to take a picture. It was the sweetest thing. And she had a family of cardinals that had fallen out of the nest, and the mom and the dad cardinal had 3 little chicks, and they were kind of hustling them around. And so it was kind of a cute thing, and she wanted to take pictures. So I thought it was a very nice little moment there. So maybe that visualization, that picture, we can force connections to that. Mom and dad cardinal ushering little chicks around or something. Creating posters. Okay. News articles. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit different. So Or you put ads, but articles are even a little bit different. Why don't you put another one? News. You said articles, but you put ads. I would say newspaper article, like an informative article type of thing. That's possible. You guys have said some other stuff, but like the documentary stuff and that sort of thing.
Did we do something about like going around to different churches and giving presentations like she did for our class?
Yes, it was. It might have not been. Let me just
Exactly like that.
maybe I should have been doing this in order. Go to different churches and talk about the mission trip. Okay. News commercial. We have the commercials. What was that here? Now, with commercials and stuff, we got to think about, well, what's stopping us?
Money.
So increase, let's go ahead and put that on here. So, stopping us, what's stopping us? So then we got money. So let's see, actually I meant to say what's stopping us. I wanted to do commercials. But I think how can we increase board members? I wanted to do commercials.
I think commercials would really get sponsors to donate instead of getting board members.
Yeah, I mean, that's as we get into convergence, I think that'll be some of the things to talk about. You're right. So commercials, I just thought, what's stopping us? And we don't want to let this stop us, but at this time at all, because we might be able to get creative. So money, in what ways can we raise commercials for money? Then we start maybe advertising that as an important aspect.
Fundraising.
So yes,
Car wash.
fundraising. What'd you say, car wash?
Car wash.
Is that what you said? I just
Yeah,
did
car
there.
wash.
Okay, car wash.
Bake sale.
The old high school car wash type thing.
Thanks,
Okay. So using both of these, let's go ahead and do what we did yesterday and now categorize these into different areas. So come on up. Braylee, let's move your table out. I think that should give us enough to kind of level up. Everybody should put eyeballs on them, and a few people can move them around, and then maybe get out of the way and somebody else can move them around. These are kind of like each other, but similar to what we did yesterday. Kind of get some groupings together.
We're at, we can just put it at,
Isn't there a couple that said?
So as you guys start to develop categories, remember you can always erase a category and rename it, or totally flexible with trying to group them up. All right, so we talked about two different areas, affective and cognitive skills. So what was the affective that we struggled with last time? Emotions, right? So how you feel, your attitudes. That's why I like that you guys brought that up from the, from the Green Day and from the chair. I felt like you were kind of setting the stage for the type of emotions or attitudes that you might want to be thinking about as we look to recruit board members. Having a certain amount of enthusiasm or otherwise is good. So that's kind of on the affective side. And what's cognitive? If we're thinking cognitive skills, so the feelings and attitudes is affective. recognition, cognitive. Let me take a stab at it. Bryce, give me number between 3 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rayleigh. It is the brain, yeah. So it's just like you're calculating. So like if you think of recognition or recognizing something, you're processing it, right? So it kind of is outside of the affect of it. It's your brain kind of processing the stuff. So avoiding premature closure. Premature what? What's that? What do you think avoiding premature closure as we get into formulating solutions? What would that mean? Bobby? What do you think it would mean?
Like, we'll like choose one and then everyone will agree with it, and instead of looking at the rest of them, we'll just go with it.
Yeah, just kind of moving too quickly to one, maybe one idea like really sounds good and we just kind of gravitate too quickly and we might overlook some other things that might be valuable. So resisting the urge to push for a decision. We want to let things kind of percolate and let all of those ideas work into potential workable solutions. So what's a solution? An elaborated idea that's been examined and strengthened to develop the best possible fit with the proposed context. So we all come at this with different ideas and attitudes into it, and we're trying to please a variety of stakeholders. We had a pretty long list of stakeholders with this organization. And so as we come to a solution, one solution might seem really good for the donors or for the board members, but maybe it kind of overlooks how that's going to affect the children or something. You know, I think maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but some other stakeholder, there might be trade-offs involved that we might not always see. So that's what I mean by examining and strengthening these ideas. And so how can we do that? Give those a read, strengthening and transforming. So one of the criticisms might be, oh, the TV commercials. Do you know what those cost? Those are way expensive. We don't have that kind of money, right? Might be kind of the immediate thing. And we are converging, so it might be correct to say that. But if we're practicing this, we're kind of saying, you know, a TV commercial would be great because it gives us an opportunity to show all the various aspects of our organization in a quick picture, right? So the idea of a TV commercial is strong. So we kind of focus first on the positives, not on the negatives right away, that it's going to cost $10,000, $12,000, or that, oh, nobody watches the news channel anyway, or, you know, whatever. We start kind of being poo-poo-poo on it. We focus on the positives, and maybe as part of that then, we can come up with some alternatives or substitutes in other areas that if money is an issue, then maybe we could try it in a different way. All right, and then transforming, getting refined, articulated. We're going to continue to work on some of our tools. So here is our overview of the tools for formulating solutions. This stuff tends to shift to convergence, but while you're doing that, you're still open to novelty, and so you can kind of make changes and manipulate it as you go. So the three tools here: criteria, evaluation matrix, and PPCO, the pluses, potentials, concerns, and overcoming. So with each one, we're going to have a different way of evaluating different ideas. I'm just going to jump into the criteria. This was from our last one. I'm going to skip that for a sec. So we can list out criteria that we think is important for the different things we want to do. So visiting churches, let's say we're a little farther along. This is kind of some of the stuff we'll do Thursday. We think visiting churches is a really good idea. And expanding the social media and doing a TV commercial or something. Well, what is the important criteria for whatever we want to do? So budget, fits our budget, it's user-friendly, compatibility, customizable, accessible. This is like choosing computers, right? There's, again, going to be trade-offs with each one. So that's the criteria. an ideal solution might have a lot of those things met. But then we have social media, go to churches, do a TV commercial, whatever. Our different ideas are here that we've converged on. And now we can kind of do this scorecard and give them a rating from 0 to 5. How well does TV commercial fit our budget? Well, it's a 1 because it's super expensive to do it. And now we're taking that criteria into account without dismissing the positive aspects of the TV commercial, which might be the ability to get our message out in a short amount of time, or some of the other positive stuff. So the TV commercial might suck on the budget, but it's good with compatibility or usability. See what I'm saying? How we're going to use that matrix then to help again refine our ideas into a potential solution. So any questions or comments there? The scorecard. All right, and then this PPCO is kind of a cost-benefit analysis from an econ standpoint, or the way I look at it. So what are the pluses? List what is good or positive about the idea. So we put all the pluses, all the potentials, list what might happen if the idea were pursued, what the possibilities are. What concerns, are there shortcomings, weaknesses, the TV commercial's expensive or whatever, and then overcome, generate ideas to overcome those concerns, starting with the most important. So then we might start doing like what we were doing, like, well, maybe we could fundraise the money. Yes, the TV commercial's expensive, but maybe we could have a special fundraiser or something, right? So it kind of puts you in the motions to try to analyze a bunch of complex things and help us refine and sort down to come down to a solution that we can ultimately present to the education and board.